Seen a lot of videos of people fearful of no-fault divorces disappearing because of the election results. As a family law attorney, I can tell you that family law is extremely state-specific, and most of our family law statutes are codified by the state, meaning our state legislature votes on those laws. They're codified. They go through our House of Representatives, our Congress, and to our governors within our own states. This issue is a specific state law issue that is going to be fought at each state level. So you need to be extremely involved in your state politics in your state house. In my reading of Project 2025, I didn't find any mention of taking out no-fault divorces and attacking no-fault divorces. I know that some of the people that support Project 25 and our founders and members and all that kind of stuff do support it, stating that no-fault divorces is destroying our social values. So again, this is a state level battle. So just because the federal election went one way doesn't mean that that fight is over if that does become a fight. If no-fault divorces are going to be attacked, it's going to be in your state house, and you need to contact your state representatives, your state senators, become familiar with them, get them on the phone.
The analogy often made is that marriage is like a tornado, initially filled with a lot of excitement, but eventually leading to the loss of everything you've built. The introduction of no-fault divorce, which allows one person to end a marriage without needing to prove wrongdoing, has faced significant criticism. While it may have been introduced with good intentions, critics argue that it has led to unintended and harmful consequences. One criticism is that no-fault divorce has incentivized marriages for financial gain, with people engaging in starter marriages, expecting temporary unions rather than long-term commitments. As long as no-fault divorce remains in place, more men are predicted to avoid long-term commitments altogether. Critics argue that these laws contribute to the increase in single-parent households, which, in turn, undermines the stability of the nuclear family, a cornerstone of society. Since the implementation of these laws, many societal indicators, such as crime rates, high school graduation rates, imprisonment, and teen pregnancy, have worsened. Critics liken the impact of no-fault divorce laws to replacing a toothbrush with a metal file and hammer, symbolizing a drastic, damaging shift in societal values and stability. Despite technological advancements and global interconnectedness, there is a perception that many aspects of society are deteriorating. Some argue that no-fault divorce was primarily promoted by communist feminists not out of concern for women's welfare, but as a calculated strategy to destabilize the United States, weakening its resilience against communism. To counteract this, there is a call to return to moral values and restore men's roles in family life and child-rearing. The proposal is to allow divorce only in cases of infidelity or proven physical abuse, with the family court requiring evidence rather than allowing divorce based solely on accusations. The emphasis is on encouraging couples to work through their issues, rather than taking the seemingly easier route of divorce, which can have devastating effects on children's lives. Raising children properly and preparing them to be productive members of society is a challenging task that requires prioritizing the needs of the family over personal pride or emotional impulses. Proponents of these views advocate for shifting the laws to reduce the incentives for divorce and encourage married couples to stay together. While this change is seen as a potential solution for healing the Western world, including the U.S., the process is expected to take decades before its positive effects are fully realized. The key focus remains on repealing what are considered detrimental no-fault divorce laws. Additionally, critics argue for the abolition of alimony and Title IV-D, which governs child support enforcement. There is also a call to reconsider the 19th Amendment. According to the Lott-Kenney report, the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote, has led to a disproportionate fiscal burden on men through taxation. The report claims that, on average, women have a negative fiscal impact of $150,000 over their lifetime, and the tax money allocated to women exceeds the tax money generated by them. This is seen as a societal imbalance, with men consistently supporting women financially, even though women's fiscal impact becomes positive only in their late 40s and early 50s. Despite criticisms of men benefiting from constructed liberties and rights, feminists have remained silent on the fact that male taxpayers essentially finance women's existence through state transfers. There is also a correlation between the doubling of government tax revenue and expenditure in the U.S. within 10 years of women gaining suffrage. At its core, critics argue that the concept of no-fault divorce is fundamentally flawed. They claim it is difficult to find another agreement that places one's entire life at risk, finances, home, and children, without clearly defined protections. Under the current system, there is an incentive for one party to contribute nothing to the union, and in some cases, to engage in fraud or perjury to exploit the other party for personal gain. Therefore, critics believe that a re-evaluation of the marriage contract is necessary. The abolition of no-fault divorce is considered crucial to the preservation of marriage, given the ongoing trends in the Western world. Some men suggest that eliminating no-fault divorce could lead to an increase in false abuse claims, which poses a significant concern regarding the fairness of the legal system in protecting men's rights. Critics argue that financial incentives promoting divorce among women should be addressed by completely eliminating alimony and limiting child support to the reasonable costs of raising a child. Ridiculous awards to maintain an accustomed lifestyle should cease, or prenuptial agreements should be mandatory, specifying alimony and child support amounts. Severe penalties should be imposed on women who fabricate abuse allegations to justify divorce. Adultery committed by a woman, critics argue, should result in the forfeiture of alimony and equal custody of children. From a male perspective, marital vows are seen as a covenant, not a contract, meaning that even if a woman is dissatisfied and fails to fulfill her end of the agreement, the man is still bound to uphold his commitments. Failure to do so could result in legal penalties. Historically, marriage was viewed as a covenant for both parties, but modern legal frameworks have shifted, making marriage legally a contract. In today's system, men often receive minimal consideration in marriage. Legally, the woman is not obliged to provide anything of value to the man, not even a commitment to fidelity. Essentially, the woman's promises in the marriage are optional, meaning the marriage, in legal terms, is not a true contract for men. In contrast, for women, marriage is not legally binding in the same way. Men should be given the legal right to divorce their wives if the woman refuses physical intimacy. Furthermore, mandatory DNA tests for paternity verification on all birth certificates for newborns should be implemented. Men should be held legally and financially responsible for all their biological children to deter promiscuity and infidelity. Advocates of a comprehensive patriarchy reject half-hearted measures. They argue that no-fault divorce is just one part of the broader issues stemming from alimony and financial exploitation during separation. Ultimately, society is seen as collectively responsible for the consequences of no-fault divorce, which serves as a warning to future generations. It encourages them not to compromise their principles and to maintain steadfast beliefs. And that concludes today's discussion on MGTOW Voice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.